This is the first of a few traffic questions that we have. Ward 3 is hardest hit with traffic congestion because of the volume of traffic that is forced to Rutherford and Weston Road intersection. One solution to alleviate congestion is to extend Pine Valley Drive from Langstaff Avenue all the way through to Rutherford Road. Will you commit today that if you're elected on October 27th, that you will introduce and or support a motion at city and or regional council that will lead to the making of Pine Valley Drive extension a reality? Carrie Liddy? So, this is a question that was presented, and so we're asking the candidates to answer. They may not need support, they may need support. We want to know their position on the issue.
Okay, I am in support of putting Pine Valley all the way through, but what I'm going to say is this. The reason why traffic is so congested throughout the city, and it is particularly bad in Ward 2 and Ward 3, is because these roads have not been properly planned. We have two fundamental problems in Vaughan, and that's we have an exceedingly high volume of flow-through traffic. It's cars that originate outside of Vaughan, and they're coming from outside of Vaughan, and they're going to outside of Vaughan. So the first thing we need to do is redirect the tens of thousands of cars a day that cut through our neighborhoods and make our streets unsafe for children around Vaughan. And what that means is that we need to connect 427 and 400 in the north. We've got the three parts of a triangle or rectangle, and we need the fourth. The other thing I would like to say is that Highway 427 and being extended only to Major Mac is going to make the situation substantially worse. There's going to be more tens of thousands of cars a day dumping onto our city streets. So Highway 427 has to be extended all the way to Highway 9 or leave it the way it is, because we can't afford to have the situation worse than it is now.
Thank you, Carrie. We're moving on to the
The issue of traffic is very complex, and it can't just be looked at in terms of one road or one intersection. I'd certainly be willing to look at it and review it, but we have so many roads in Vaughan that just end. Tustin, Kirby, Langstaff, and yes, Pine Valley. If traffic isn't looked at in a comprehensive manner, look at all these streets that need to be more efficient in terms of the east-west, north-south corridors that we have, also looking at opening them up, and as Ms. Liddy alluded to, the comprehensive nature that roads need to take. They need to accommodate cars, transit, cyclists, and pedestrians. Traffic is not just one road. Traffic is a very comprehensive, and it needs to be looked at in a very comprehensive way. And that's the way I'll look at things, not piecemeal, not one-off. It has to be looked at in a comprehensive way.
Thank you, and I agree with you, Mr. Lorello, that's the way it should be looked at. First, the question focuses on the Pine Valley extension, and to give you a very brief history. It wasn't included in our official plan. We were collecting development charges from the development industry, as we do for every project, and we approved it. The environmental assessment passed it, and it was appealed to the province, and it was defeated there. Because of that, we could no longer collect the development charges, and whatever we had collected up to that point was diverted in other projects within the community. So therefore, even if we wanted to look at it again, we don't have the development charges money. We would have to come to the taxpayer for them, and that means a major impact on taxpayers' dollars. And the fact that it was defeated at that time was a blow, because we weren't counting on that extension. And therefore it's not there anymore. But in general, I think the solution is yes, we have to look at it globally. We have to look at the entire GTA together with Metrolink and all our partners to find a real solution. One of which is to have a first-class transit system that is functional and provides a great service to people and reduce the dependency on the car. That's part of the solution, together with having highways across from point A to point B without going to
Moving on to the
community.
next councillor.
Thank you.
Sorry, the next candidate, Deb Schultz.
Thank you very much. This is a question for me, and I think most people in the room know that I had something to do with the Pine Valley link not going through. What has happened is the province took a look at the information that was brought forward. They made a decision that the environmental impacts of putting that road through, the costs, and the impacts were not something they would be prepared to entertain. So they took it out. And they said, go away and look at this in a comprehensive way, which I sat on the West Vaughan Transportation IEA for an additional 4 years as we worked through what other alternatives do we have to solve the problem. The situation is we continue to develop and we haven't got the infrastructure that we've identified is required. And that's why right now all of you think the answer is the Pine Valley Extension. Well, it isn't. The answer is a whole lot of other infrastructure that is needed to be implemented. Let's just talk about that. 427 has to come up. Despite what's being said, having it come up to Major Mac is going to be significant. Having Major Mac widened all the way across to the 400. Having some intersection improvements at Weston and Rutherford Road. These are all things that are in the plan and are going to be done. And I personally took the initiative when I found out that Major Mac was not going to get widened for another 4 or 3 years. I took the initiative, went very hard to the table, and got it next year. Thank
you. Michael DiBiase.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pine Valley Extension is a very contentious issue. Is it going to happen? Very unlikely. And there are a number of reasons for it. One is that part of it is Green Belted. Another reason is part of it belongs to the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, and they're not going to give up any land. What the region has done instead is they've done an environmental assessment of Major Mackenzie. Major Mackenzie is being widened all the way from Western Road or Highway 400 all the way to Highway 50 over a period of years. The first phase is happening starting next year. Actually, it's starting right now, from Western Road to Islington, and then subsequently Highway 27, and then all the way west. So that's one major project that's being completed. Langstaff Road is being extended all the way. There's a study underway for Langstaff Road to be extended, built over the CN tracks. There's also Teston Road that's going to be rather not extended, but joined up from Dufferin to Kiel. Kirby also is one that's in the books, projected for the next 20 years. So there's a number of roads that are being joined to cut across the city for better traffic and circulation. And all these are undertaken by the region to be completed as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there's no question that traffic is a major issue throughout, and we have to look at all the options that are available to resolve that. If we don't resolve the traffic issues, the impact will continue on not only communities but businesses as well. So we do need to look at a comprehensive approach. And I agree with many of my colleagues with respect to the need to have more transit, more buses, more GO trains, and more stations. We need technology. There is a new technology that synchronizes the signals right across, and there's studies that have been done that show that it cuts down 25% of travel time. So with the road extensions, I agree with that as well. So having done all of that and assessing whether there's still a need to look at Pine Valley to be extended, that decision should be made at that point.
We are moving now into 9 seconds of cross debate on this issue.
The simple fact of the matter in the city is that a city of 320,000 people, 14th largest in the country, relies on only 3 roads to move all of its traffic east to west. That's Highway 7, Rutherford, and Major Mackenzie. Trying to resolve that requires connections to be made at Langstaff, at Feston Road, flyovers. For example, on the south of Highway 7, it relieves some of the pressure from Highway 7 from a business area to a business area, rather than some of the things that have been proposed by the city to release traffic from business areas into residential areas. Because we do have this problem with residential traffic, with infiltration that cuts through residences and makes neighborhoods exceedingly unsafe in areas. So we have to plan smartly. And for about 30 years since development began in this city, we've not done that. We've continued to build, but not add the infrastructure that can move the people who are here around. And now we are building a metropolitan center, and that is a significant undertaking and will change and enhance the city.
Well, Lorenzo, one of the things that I'd like to interject here, Lorenzo, just to interject a second, and I think they'll agree with my point here, is that I find it completely amusing that the people who have been on council for 20, 25 years or longer, who created the gridlock and traffic mess, are now telling us that they're going to fix it. This is what I find. I agree with that.
That ends the cross debate on this issue, please. That ends the cross debate on this issue. We're moving on to the next question.